Okay, so this meeting, as I said, is about how you can prepare yourself for the job market, especially in Netherlands. But most of the things that I say can be used, in other um, countries perhaps as well. But some of the searches that I give you, the keywords, these are based on me searching for jobs for students of this class for over the span of, I guess, 3 years. So I managed to find some keywords that can hit the jobs that it would be that would work for students of EOR better with the kind of courses that you take. So please keep that in mind. So first, I would go for job seeking and preparation, and then the next section would be on what to learn next after this class. So in this part, first I would go over who is ready for the job market, job search using LinkedIn, and then how your LinkedIn account should look like. That's also very important for programmers like you. First off, if you get a 6 from this course, you have the foundation to land a job. So if you get a 6, don't feel like that, oh, I'm not ready for the job. With a 6, you're ready. You have the foundation. You can just start applying for jobs, internship jobs at least. And by taking a look at your next year's courses like asset pricing, things like that, you are on track to be, a top data scientist in Netherlands. You just need to learn how to use Python in those courses. Then you have a set of skills that almost rare in Netherlands, in my opinion. And if you do the business analytics and operation research master's degree, then it is going to be very, you're going to be very competitive. It's going to be very difficult to find someone with your skill set. But again, that means that for each course that you take in the next year, you also try to figure out how Python can be used, the Python packages related to those uh, courses. So I'm going to give you some links later to figure out how this can be done. How can you do job search? The important thing is that you need to know many job search engines. But so in Canada, I would suggest some other job search engines. But here, the job search engine that is quite useful for Dutch student is, in my opinion, is LinkedIn.com /jobs. So even if you search anything on LinkedIn, there is a category jobs. You just click on them on that, and then you see most of the jobs that are on LinkedIn. The keyword that I have found over the years that work for students like you are a student, is searching for Python risk, Python quantitative analytics, and Python fraud. These kind of keywords, because when you search for Python on LinkedIn and you uh, set the location in Netherlands, right now I guess you're finding more than 7,000 job description with Python in that. So weaker keywords are Python, Python data, Python analytics. So you would see a lot of hits there, but with these keywords, you can find better type of jobs that fit your skill sets. So then you can set the location to Netherlands or North Brabant, and experience level. You can also choose internship and entry level. Let me show that to you um, myself. Then it would be more interesting. Okay, let me see if I have another one which is better. This one is better. Let me share this one with you. Okay, so you go on LinkedIn and you search, or even LinkedIn /jobs, that would be easier. But even on LinkedIn, you can search something and then press on jobs. And for that, you need to have an account on LinkedIn. And I also tell you how that account should look like. Okay, so you see here, search for job. I already searched for Python risk, and here you can also even choose, for example, Tilburg or Amsterdam. So here, Python, Netherlands. Okay, when the job is posted, I already selected internships. See here, or you can also choose for entry level, or if you want to prepare yourself for the long run, then you can also click on associate, or just don't click anything and see what kind of capabilities these jobs require. And then perhaps remote job is not important here, full-time internship or things like that, what kind of company. So these are not, so this is, for example, one of those jobs. Usually you see the first one is promoted. Promoted means that, it's paid by some person, by a company, in this case, Volksbank, to have the first one. So I guess this is quite interesting for you. Perhaps you can even apply right now. So you see that there are many, quite interesting jobs here. And even if I lose these internships and just have Python risk, 278. If I just have Python, let's see what happens. In Netherlands, around 7,000 results. So you can just look for any jobs, but again, the keywords that I introduce you is quite important to find jobs that are related to your area of interest, assuming that you like your, you are. So another issue that I see in the students is that they think that, oh, I'm not qualified enough to apply for jobs. Don't think about this. Whatever job you see, just try to apply for it. Because what you also need is accumulating interview experience for future. You need to see so many, first of all, job posts, and more importantly, have interview experience. So you're not in rush to find a job here, but you just want to know what kind of questions you're going to be asked, so that you're not going to be, shaky, during the real interviews. And most of the times, believe me, companies cannot find an intern, or even a person who satisfies all their expectation. I read some of these job postings and I can easily say that, oh, this person doesn't know what he wants. He has no idea, because they want 5 or 6 people in reality having all those skills. So just apply, because most other students wouldn't apply for those kind of jobs. You apply, and the pool is so narrow that so small that they have to go for one person that can help them. So most of the time, as I said, even companies do not know what they want, and they just put a job posting there that is not going to be useful, in my opinion. Okay, what to expect in interviews, that's another important things. Here, let me see if I can share computer sound with you. Okay, let's see if we can watch this YouTube video. You're not going to watch it completely. It's 53 minutes of, interview with.
Hello.
Hey.
Do you hear that?
Hi, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
If you hear that, say yes in the chat section.
Are you familiar with the platform and how it works?
This is my first time, but I know this platform. This particular console.
CoderPad? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So then shouldn't be too hard to just get started. I'm just going to ask a couple of technical sort of coding challenges, and then at the end, if you have any questions for me, you can ask me then, and I'll give some feedback about how it went on the platform and so forth. So yeah, we can just get started if you're ready.
Sure.
All right. So Today we're going to be kicking it old school, and we're going to be making change, like in a cash register.
Okay.
So just like we'll start with the basic idea, and then we'll sort of build up on it. But let's just say that you're a cash register software, and you need to find how many coins you're going to give back as change. And so, for example, if you know you need to give 33 cents back in change, you know that you'll give 1/4, 1 nickel, and 3 pennies. So that makes sense in terms of like what the overall structure is.
Oh yeah. So nickel is 5 cents, right? I mean, I forgot actually.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah. So quarter. So this is like 25 cents.
Oh, dime. Yeah, I was thinking of dime. Dime is 10. Okay.
Right, yeah. So dimes, and then there's also pennies is 1, and then there's also like a dime.
Let me a little put it forward.
But I'm just running with while true.
So guys, you see, this is a very much similar to a kind of exam question that I can give you on final exam. So they start with this.
Cents, sorry, number of times 0, and now I can do number of coins.
You're basically taking advantage of the fact that the greedy algorithm is correct for this set of coins. So you go and you greedily decide how many quarters you need, and then dimes, and then nickels, and then pennies. And
that's enough, I guess. For today, you can watch that. I'm going to upload the slides as well, and then you can watch this yourself to the point that you like. So here you see the exams, even the exam setting that we have is very similar to the exam setting of a Google interview. But note that the kind of exam that we have is a precedes this kind of interviews. So you take exam like what you saw in the midterm exam. You have a specific amount of time, and you need to be quite fast in to show that you are capable, because your time is also being recorded. And then after doing that, you are invited to interviews like this, and then it just goes on and on. Another interesting read is this person. He wasn't from a Ivy League universities, these top universities in the United States, but he still was able to land several offers from Microsoft, Amazon, and Twitter at the same time. So here he explains what he did, how he did that, why he was sad at the beginning. So you can easily see. So this is exactly medium.com, the website that Joris mentioned today. So just try to read this. The thing is that you cannot, you can read only 3 free stories per month. If you have issues with that, just right click on the link and go to the incognito window, and then you can copy paste the link and read this. So you cannot read more than 2 or 3 articles on Medium unless you go, because they have cookies they store. And as Joris mentioned, this is a great website that mostly programmers and data analytic experts talk about their stuff. So this person, he landed a job on Amazon. And then he explained, what happened, what was his background. He wasn't happy with the kind of job that he has found for the first few years of his job. And then, he didn't have a good diploma. He wasn't even interested in the field of study that, and then how he managed to get, a good job and find the job that he likes. So keep these in mind. So please watch this YouTube video at your spare time, and also read this interview. Okay. Another important thing is about having a LinkedIn account. I want to show you, I had the same kind of, um, slides for my students, in Canada as well. Let's learn from, a great students, former students of mine. See, how this profile should look like. This is quite important. You may feel that but this is not correct, in my opinion. Most students don't know what they do. So we start from the profile picture. We see, first of all, he uses quotes. He is wearing, a coat. And at the same time, so this is formal, but at the same time, it's not formal. He has, a big smile, and so he was a very bright student. So you need to have a profile like this that is formal but not informal. And you see here, he has his name, and then digital strategy manager at TELUS. This is his job, and he uses vertical sign that I see more and more on LinkedIn to just separate important things. And then you see here, he said multi-certified analytics enthusiast. This is also important. If you want to the recruiters to approach you, that's another thing that in just one line, because the recruiters will at their first, they would see your profile picture, your name, and this part. What is your job, and things like that. So this is quite important. Keep that in mind. Another thing is that he has more than 500 connections. What do I get from that when I see 500 plus connections? That he's going to be perhaps a collegial person, that he has some expertise that some other people found interesting. So you just need to give different signals to the recruiters and to the people. So keep this in mind. Then this part, is not important. In the about you section, hello, I'm John, a data-driven digital strategist. You see, with the first sentence, he's just giving away what he's good at and or what he wants to be. So read this, you learn a lot from Jonathan here. And then he provided his experience, and you see that it's not just like my profile, because I don't care about being recruited through LinkedIn. This is different for professors. They use another medium to do that. But what he did, he provided even the year, he's now in Toronto, Canada, and the even the timing. This is most LinkedIn account, you see that. What you don't see is here. He explains what kind of things he does at TELUS, which is, it's like Zego here. And in a way, you see that this helps what he has here, multi-certified analytic enthusiastic, okay, or the job that he's doing at the moment. So this is very important, that you also need to, for example, before that he was in Deloitte, he explains what kind of things he did, that what kind of projects he was involved in, and some other even documents to support that. This is what recruiters love. And you see, he doesn't even, I remember that he was at ICBC and he was getting back to me that, we have a problem like this. What should I do about that? After, he was graduated. You see here, again, what happened here? Data-driven. This is at the service of analytics, if you know the area. So even with the jobs that he was doing as an intern, first of all, he didn't mention that it's an intern, is it? I guess he was an intern there. And then in the highlights included, again, he tries to explain things that are quite amazing. And he didn't even, he mentioned that he was working from very young, at different areas. And, this shows that how, perhaps how much he's into working. So keep that in mind. Then the education, Even in the education section, it doesn't just have the name, UBC Sadr School of Business, where I taught him things. It's not just that, it's the school that we both were in. So he mentioned how good the school is, because most recruiters, they don't know, how good the school is. So provided this, then he said, oh, I was graduated with honors. These are the extracurricular activities that I did. Again, shows that, how collegial he is with these extracurricular activities. And also some of these were even related to competitions, related to the area of his expertise. So don't try to explain what kind of things you did. Highlights, the highlights of your uh, uh, being at Tilburg University, doing UR. You need to provide some stuff like this. Say how good Tilburg University is, how good ER program is, and then, graduated like this, these are the notable things that I have done. Or you can even talk about the projects that you had here, of course, related to, and then, certification that he collected over the years. At first he didn't have all these, these were gradually added, but it's always good to have certificates that, that is highly recognized in the industry. And this is quite an important part, skills and endorsement. You see here, he mentioned what kind of skills he has, so I can easily see, and how many people have have endorsed him there. And then let me, it shows that, my next class is approaching. You don't need computer sound. And then recommendations. You see, it's not just about endorsement. It's when you work with someone, you want to get some recommendation from them explaining why you are a good colleague, yet you're knowledgeable, that people like you, love you, you're collegial. So you see, he tried to do that. And you see, our senior consultant at Deloitte did that. A senior specialist, in marketing did that. And then you see in the given section, see what happened here? So you receive something and you give something. Keep that in mind. You can always approach your colleague, say that I can write some, recommendation for you. Please, would you please also write, a recommendation for me? This is very important. Keep that in mind. And then some accomplishment that he mentioned. And this is another signal that he gives to the market. So you see here, it shows that he follows the big four. Let me see. PricewaterhouseCoopers, Deloitte, Harvard Business Review. So these are all signals. The kind of people that you follow here shows, that what kind of person you are. So Kevin O'Leary, this is a great, entrepreneur, a venture capitalist with, a great entrepreneurship mind. So he just shows that what kind of person he is and what he is into. So these are also important things. Keep that in mind. So with that, let's get back to let me PowerPoint. For some reason, I lost my PowerPoint for a minute. Okay. And this. Okay. So we went over job search. We went, what to expect in the interviews and what kind of LinkedIn account you need to have to be shortlisted for, interviews. So have a nice pick, add your skills, have as many connections as possible, because some of the jobs, I remember that, I had, a Dutch friend who is around 50. He was just getting back from, Spain, and he was looking for jobs. He used to be a skipper at the, at boat. He had many, oceans, traveled. So he was working on big ships, but he couldn't find the kind of jobs that I could find for people like him, because I had so many LinkedIn connections, even if that was not part of my expertise. So some of those jobs would not be shown to them. So try to have as many connections as possible, and keep that in mind. Company doesn't hire your skill. More importantly, they hire your connections, because they want someone to resolve the issue, and most of the time you cannot resolve all the problems. So connections are quite important. And then we went over Jonathan's review. The other thing is that you are working now in different in the groups. At least some of the people here. Add Python as your skill right now on LinkedIn, and then endorse one another. Especially if you get a high grade in Python, and you have another person who gets a high grade in Python. In 4 or 5 years, they're going to be a specialist in Python, perhaps having a job, landing on a job in Python. Then they are going to be quite skilled. And then you see here, let me show you this part, which is very important again. This is my profile, I guess. You see here, it's not just that 98 people endorse my enterprise architecture skill, it's also this person, Reza. It says that he's highly skilled at this. So I'm endorsed by someone who is highly skilled at this. And in 5 years, it's highly possible that those people are going to be also deemed as highly skilled. And this can have quite, important, it can increase the visibility of your profile just because of that. And your recruiters can approach you way better, in my opinion. Another thing that, I've created a LinkedIn group. You can just try to join that group. But the thing is that sometimes I share some interesting reads there, so students from the previous years are there as well. But the important thing is that after 3 years or 4 years, when you need an intern, or you want a new person who knows Python, please tell that, there, do a posting there, so that other people from your peers in the school can find a job as well. So and if you have found interesting reads about Python, interesting jobs, please add them there. The other thing is that about endorsement, not only you have to endorse one another, which is quite important, I also endorse you. So if it's only about final exam, not receipt exam, if you get a score of 8 or higher, I'm going to endorse you. If you get a 10, like one person student did that last year, so I even write give you a written endorsement that he was quite great in my class. But other than that, there are different ways to endorse a person, highly skilled, and with that I show to the job market how good you are. Most of the people, they won't see good, very good, or highly skilled, but perhaps recruiters can have a glance on this. So I explained how you need to do things. And the other thing is that, I'm not going to endorse you, just because you got a grade. You have to endorse me first. Why is this important? That you endorse me and then I endorse you. Of course, it's good for me, but how is this good to you, in your opinion? Who wants to answer this? No, it's not about learning LinkedIn. It's about endorsement. You see, after a while, all these high skilled people, they're endorsing me for Python. And after 3 or 4 years, when I endorse them back, because I have so many endorsement of Python in my skills, LinkedIn thinks that I'm highly skilled. Okay, when I'm highly skilled, what happens? When I endorse back those students, it shows that, oh, after a while, 3 or 4 years or 5 years, show that their Python skills is endorsed by someone who is highly skilled at Python. Okay, so in a way, this is a mutual benefit, for both of us, and you help, yourself. Okay, so now I would like to have a kind of group exercise. So let me copy paste these jobs that I have found. You read them, and for each of them, we try to figure out what kind of expertise you need to land on this job, okay? So let me copy paste these links. In the chat section. Mm-hmm. Okay, I would like you to go to these links and then here write down, for example, job number 1. Oh, let me see if I can. No, unfortunately, the 1 and 2 is not there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, what kind of thing job number 1 needs? Can you apply for this job right now? Or what kind of things you need to have to apply for this job? I told you that anyway, you have to do this, huh? But assuming that you are doing a great job, what kind of thing you need to do? Okay, we start with the first one. Okay, this is in the first of you see, you can even you have the apply link, you can save it for later. Because I don't know Dutch, let me translate that to English. Okay, it shows that you want to be in your third WO, so I guess you are here, enthusiastic and eager to learn. You are analytical skills. You are following ER, excellent communication skills. Office, preferably have a knowledge of programming language such as R, Python, and MATLAB. Not necessary, but a lot. That means that you're going to be way more competitive for this job. Yeah, so everyone can apply for this job. Right now, I found a job for you. Just go and apply it, and it's related to the area of research that to the area of your interest, as well as operational risk management. It's not just that only one person can be. They have so many projects, they need so many people. But what else? How would you? So because this is going to be competitive, I leave that to you. Okay, I don't just apply for it, and this is going to be interesting. Let's talk about this job, which is, in future, perhaps you don't want to give up your secret sauce. Okay, market risk management internship at ABN AMRO. Okay. What kind of things do you need? Yeah, the second one, you can almost apply for that right after graduating from this degree. Okay, that's good. What else do you need here? It explains about company. Most of the time, that's another lesson. Most of the time you find interesting things, at the end, what kind of people they want. This is what we offer. Okay, you're a hard worker, you're proactive, pro learner, team player. You know what? And monthly fixed compensation, this is not bad. You need to provide your CV, why you're interested in doing this. So this is the kind of things that, and there is a deadline, which is good because you're already going to be done with your exams. And I guess they just need 5 months. Okay, you are the WO students. You need to know Python. That's good. Work experience. So this is exactly the kind of job. Even if I were you, I would apply for this job because you don't know what they want. And you can always say, because in reality, they just want 5 months of available time. And you can say that I have 5 months of available time. I take, fewer courses next week, for example, next year, next semester, to just do this job. So this is another interesting job. Well, what else did you learn from this? Any questions about this job that can be interesting? Unmute yourself or just ask the question in the chat section. Bona, thank you for being quite active in the chat section. Any ideas? No? Okay, if anything came to your mind, please let me know. Okay, let's go for the third job. It's not always about job, it's also about having experience. Perhaps you want to be an entrepreneur in the future. This one is a risk model engineer, RM, ALM, something, at Rabobank. It says credit risk modeling. You're going to have a course on this. Machine learning algorithms. This is what Joris was talking about. So you need to learn about these. If you go for the master's degree, BAOR, you're going to learn some of the algorithms here. We also have some data science master's program. You can also learn them there. What else do we see here? And they say that the experience can be started during the master's. That's great. Monitoring trends in IT technology, this is not a big deal. Managing stakeholders, connecting risk modeling to mathematics. So again, you see, it's a kind of, you are the kind of graduate that they want. So when are you getting this course related to credit modeling? Do you know that? Let me see your program. If you have anything related to credit modeling somewhere here. This is your first year, third year. Do you know when are you going to have those things? Yeah, quantitative finance, perhaps you get some stuff related here. But I see more and more insurance people with Python skills are being needed, or risk modelers are needed. So if you see a course related to credit modeling, you can also take that as well. And okay, some other stuff that you can read that yourself. But by reading these, you just prepare yourself for for a course. I just saw that. Let me see if this is the one or the other one was the one. Because as of next week, we are going to learn object-oriented programming. And you see that some of these jobs, one of these jobs at least, it says that you need to know Python, but not just Python, object-oriented programming in Python. Oh, not this one. Perhaps it was this one. Python, object. Yeah. So here for this job, which is the risk model engineer at Rabobank, it's not just knowing Python, it's about knowing object-oriented programming in Python, which is going to be the topic of our class for the next 3 weeks. Okay. Let me take a look at the time. Yeah, we still have time. Let's go to the, okay. So with that,